Hello, my name is Sakari Lehtinen. Let's continue on getting started with simplebim by setting the requirements for your data and using automated validation to guide your editing. If you are not already watching inside the simplebim, please get your free trial now from datacubist.com. Just like you have specific requirements for different kind of drawings, elevations, sections, details, and so on, you have specific requirements for different kind of BIM exchange files. In BIM exchange, the basic requirements are set by the receiving application. Note that the BIM exchange requirements are set to the IFC file, not to the source model. For example, an IFC file used in the quantity takeoff application has very different data requirements than the exchange file targeted to energy analysis application. So, what are the basic three requirements for an IFC file? First of all, it should only include objects that are required by the targeted task and application. You don't create any drawings with all the objects and properties in them either, do you? Second, it should only include the properties required by the targeted task and application. Many times, the extra objects will increase the file size more than 90%, and any unnecessary data will cause unnecessary problems. Take my word for it. And third, the properties in the IFC file should have valid values. If the data in the BIM exchange file cannot be professionally trusted, the whole data exchange becomes useless. Now let's start the actual editing by choosing the requirements for our task. In simplebim you do this by using templates. Note, however, that it's not mandatory to use templates in simplebim, but they will make your BIM exchange much easier. The ready-made templates are found from the startup canvas, or if the model is already open, here in the editor tab. For now, let's click on Apply User Template and choose this training template, which includes the requirements for the EDI's energy analysis. Right away we can see which parts of the model are meeting the requirements and which are not. As you can see, the template also did most of the editing work automatically for you. For energy analysis, we only need walls, spaces, windows, doors, and slabs, sometimes curtain walls, but we don't need furniture, columns, railings, stairs, trees, and such. Now, let's fine-tune the edits manually, but first let's go through some basic things. By double-clicking on a viewport, you can move it to the center. 3D navigation works like this. You can navigate either with the mouse wheel or with the right mouse button. To rotate, use the right mouse button or mouse wheel plus shift key. There's a mouse wheel zoom. If you don't have mouse wheel, use right mouse button plus control key instead. Panning can be done with the middle button or with right mouse button plus shift key. You can set the rotation point by pressing V and by left-clicking on the place of your preference. Quick way of getting the model into the right position is to use the basic views. Easy way to examine the model closer is to right-click and zoom to selected. You can get back to the full view by right-clicking and choosing Zoom to Fit. Or you can reset the view to the starting point quickly by clicking on the Reset button. Area selection is started separately for each selection, like this. You can also start it by pressing shortcut A. That might be faster if you need to do it multiple times in a row. Use Ctrl to add to the selection and Shift to remove from a selection. Also, at any time you can find a context menu behind the right click. With the tooltip, you can quickly view object data. Using Shift or Control key will show you more data. Finally, note that most of the palettes, not just 3D, have some options on the ribbon tab or at the info bar. Note also that you can drag and drop almost anything to anywhere. Now choose a quick select. It allows you to select objects based on different criteria. I'll start with object class. Hover over the walls, right-click on the walls and choose Hide. Now hover over the spaces, right-click and isolate them. Finally, I choose space name to find the unrelevant cross areas from the model. Hover over the cross areas and drag and drop them to the excluded bucket. You should drag and drop and keep the objects you don't want to exchange in the excluded bucket, and the objects you want to exchange in the included bucket. Finally, I right-click and show all the objects. When you are done with the objects, you are ready to trim the properties. Click on Walls. As you can see from the Properties palette, most of the properties or the gray properties are already automatically excluded from the model. If you need to include additional properties, right-click on a property and choose Include Selected. Or if you need to exclude properties, right-click and choose Exclude. If you want to find specific property, use the search. Different use cases and even applications have additional special requirements for the models. This is where Simplement Tools come handy. These are small checks or processors which can be run to the model, either here from the Ribbon tab or from a template. For example, there shouldn't be duplicate objects in the model when using it, for example, for quantity takeoff. To make sure that this is the case, run the template. Well, there were a few, but the tool already automatically excluded them. Or overlapping spaces are not allowed in the spatial program validation or in the energy analysis. Run the tool and find out if there are any. Finally, it seems that there's still something wrong with the walls and slabs. If you hover over the validation icon, it tells you the reason. There seems to be some issues with the values. Next, let's go to the property editor and fix this. Click on the property editor button and continue by watching the tutorial over there.